Welcome to Ridgecrest Talk. This is your host, Paul Vender. We're talking tonight with Caesar Malta. Caesar is coming over from the Bakersfield side of the county. And Caesar, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and talk a little bit about your ministry, the group that you're working with.
Caesar Malta from Bakersfield, and I'm Vice President of Special Projects with Healing Word International Chaplain Ministry. We're more like a emergency response chaplains. We help people in need. We have a food ministry. We have hospital chaplains that help out people there going through, just to debrief the families that have maybe a family member that has cancer or heart problems and things like that. And pretty much we're there to help people out. And we have a desert property here at the high desert here in Kern, and called the Robbers Roost Ranch. And I'm looking to maybe use that property for to help our veterans and give them something to do out here in the high desert, whether it be some farming or some renewable energy projects.
Right. So Robbers Roost Ranch, everybody I'm sure drives by it whether they recognize the name or not, or if they paid attention.
Yes.
It's one of the older properties here in the valley, I believe. It's got quite a history. But before we start talking about that, let's kind of come back to your personal history, kind of growing up. Have you been over to Ridgecrest? Did you know this existed at all?
Yes, I've been to Ridgecrest a few times in China Lake area. I did some work out here in probably about 10, 15 years ago. And I'm originally from Los Angeles area. Ended up moving in Kern County to Delano. Graduated from Delano High School in '93, and moved to Bakersfield, and I've been there for the past 20 years. And now I'm here in the high desert, with the Robbers Roost Ranch, and I fell in love with the desert. It's beautiful out here.
Right, it is quite a bit different, and it's quite different from month to month. Here locally, I'm not sure how much you're paying attention, but we've had some real challenging times recently with the zoning and the water use issues that are coming up throughout California.
Yeah.
Kern County, and I think our supervisor, Mick Gleason, has kind of taken the valley here as kind of the middle ground to say, hey, what can we do to get change and to move forward the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 50 years, how this valley is going to be shaped. And it's interesting you talk about starting with the ministry and coming out into the desert. Is it the same thing that you're doing in Bakersfield, or when you approach it and you come out to the desert, are you looking at, this environment is different than it is over in Bakersfield?
It is quite different. Bakersfield a little bit more city. Here I'm able to focus in a little bit more towards the growing the food for our food ministry. And if we can do some renewable energy projects out here and involve and teach some of the veterans that want some extra classes on renewable energies, because that's where it's going. We need to get more involved in renewable energies. Right now I also work with Solar City, and pretty much the goal is to put as many solar panels on homes as possible, which saves water at the same time putting your solar panels on your home. But if we can do, a project up at the Robbers Roost, get the community involved, I think we can make something bigger happen here in the high desert when it comes down to renewable energy and conserve our water. It seems to be an issue right now.
Right, and it's something I kind of talk about is there's always all of these issues, but as a community, as a society, we don't always address them at the same time.
Yeah.
Here, just a few years back here in Indian Wells Valley, especially right here in Ridgecrest, recycling became a huge issue where the state got involved and said, hey, how are you guys going to recycle and take care of your trash? And of course, the community was going to have to pay the bill, and so it became a pretty hot topic. But at the same time, without getting as much press, is the water district is recognizing these drought issues and passed a new rule that said if you build a new home, and I think this was like 5 years ago, if you build a new home, you can't put grass in your front yard. And that kind of went right by everybody not paying attention as they're busy through their day-to-day routine because they're so focused on the trash issue. But we still have a water drought issue. We still have alternative energy issue. We still have all these changes that are going on in society and in our community, but it doesn't always get as much attention. Now, there's one thing you said that doesn't make sense to me right away the first time you said it, is you said that solar power saves water. Now, how is that related?
Yes, when you put solar on your home, you wonder, how does it save water? Well, it takes Edison or PG&E to water to generate electricity from their turbines they use to either steam it, to cool it down. Figure a 7 kilowatt system on the life of the solar panels on your home can save about 130,000 gallons of water. So when you have hundreds of thousands of homes, which is like Elon Musk, his idea, and Linden Drive from Solar City, their idea is to put, I think it was like 1.2 million homes in the next year and a half with solar. Well, imagine how much water that's going to save. Right now it seems like, oh, that's impossible. It doesn't save that much water, but it's there. That's a fact. Going solar in your home is cleaner, and it does save water. And a lot of people don't know that, but that's one way to conserve your water just here in the high desert. But all over Bakersfield, I think Bakersfield is like one of the top cities right now getting solar for their homes, and it's a great thing to see. People
Right.
going renewable, people caring about the environment, and they're saving money on their electricity bill.
Yeah, no, I lived in Hawaii for a while, and then came back to the desert where I'd grown up. And it seems like everybody in Hawaii was getting into solar. It's just something that makes sense anytime you're in an environment. But here in Ridgecrest and Indian Wells Valley, we have Inyokern, which is kind of the sunshine capital.
Yeah.
If you count how many days of sunshine per year,
All day.
you're not going to find a place that has more than here in the valley.
Yeah.
And so I can see solar being part of that. And I've been one of those people who've been hesitant about solar. But every type of way that saves water is important. And
Yes.
they always talk about that. And then they say, well, ag is using all the water, 80% of the use or whatever the number is, and we got to focus on the ag.
We need
But
ag.
how much of it can we cut back?
Yeah.
And then how can we use those other areas in the long term
Yes.
for sustainable solutions?
We need ag, and that's what the San Joaquin Valley is all about. We need to help them out. We need to help the local farmers figure out how to conserve the water, and what can we do to help them?
Right, and we're going to get ready to go to break, but I'm here talking with Cesar Malta with Healing Words International from Bakersfield. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back to Ridgecrest Talk. Your host, Paul Vander. We're talking kind of a interesting hybrid of concepts here in the Valley. The truth is everything is interrelated, and nobody operates in a vacuum. You can't be a business without customers, and you can't be a customer seeking whatever you want without businesses. Obviously, you can't do everything yourself. But we're talking about a number of dynamics. One is a ministry, and another one is the different issues that are coming out that are hot topics here in the Valley. One of them we were talking about was solar power. Definitely is something that's on the cutting edge, that's keeps improving, and it's going to be more and more involved in the future. But it's not really the hot topic right now. We've been talking about the drought, as the rest of the
Yes.
state has, and we've been talking about how we keep our water local without having the agriculture come in and take all the water out, or any other jump to get, anybody trying to jump in and get the water is just becoming so scarce.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the solar energy isn't something that's real important. And you were talking about some of the different things that were going on and how that saves water, and how you're looking at solar power for the Indian Wells Valley. Now I know there's different projects that are going on. We had the Audubon Society on, and the question I was asking is, how do these big solar farms affect the migration of birds? I read in one article how that bird comes through and they get zapped and fried.
Oh, with
It's almost like an instant chicken dinner there if you're there with your plate.
the heat is so scarce.
Right, because those are issues you don't always think about.
Yeah.
And here locally, we had a large solar project that was kind of being planned out in Inyokern. Ended up not happening. And then the base was able to put in a project out by the back gate. And there's other areas too that are kind of tackling this too. We have the big project I think it's called Aqua Helio down there in the Cal City area, which is putting in some huge projects right now. And then I've also read a little bit about a project up by Manzanar in Inyo County.
Yeah.
That there's some concerns up there about how that's going to be put in. And regardless of any project, you have people supporting it, people against it.
Yeah.
And one of the concepts was, are we going to have these big, broad expanses out in the desert that's providing a whole community's power, or are we going to put the power right there on the house? Do you have any viewpoints on it? Is one better than the other, or is it a combination of the two?
It's going to be a combination of the two. I mean, we need those tower solar projects. That's like the one they're building in Cant Hill right now. They say that birds can fly by there and it burns them up. But again, it's a way those type of solar projects store energy, which a regular PV solars cannot do, unless you have a huge battery backup system. But those solar towers heat up. These mirrors heat up these towers, and they're able to heat up the salt that makes the steam, which makes it a giant battery. Whatever the size it is. If it's a 30 megawatt system or whatever they have out there, they can store electricity, which you can't do with PV solar. So we need those. It's a great technology. Again, you have the environmentalists out there saying that it's killing the birds and things like that.
Actually,
but we're always going to have those fights.
Actually, they had a good middle ground. They basically said, we're concerned, but we don't know. It's too early to tell. We're not ready to jump on the bandwagon and say we're totally against it.
Yeah.
But we want to look and we want to get more information before we make a decision.
Well, just like the water issue, how they're they're taking the water away from the farmers because of the smelt fish. Well, they do a study and they find one. Are you going to save one fish, or are you going to share the water with the farmers? They can grow to feed millions of people. That's an issue there. Fresh water is going back to the ocean. That doesn't make sense. I could talk about that all day, but we're not going to go there right now.
I think everybody I talk to when I'm over in the San Joaquin Valley,
it upsets you.
Whether you're farming or you're just a resident, I think that everybody's familiar with that issue.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this before. I drove through Rio Vista right there on the Delta a few months ago.
Okay.
And I was just amazed at how green everything was. The water is right up to the top of the levee.
Yeah.
And that river water, like you said, is going to go out through the Delta and then out into the ocean.
Yeah.
And then at the other time, you're driving through the valley and you're seeing all this farmland that's torn up.
That's just torn up, yeah.
And that's kind of a similar argument here, maybe not quite as strong, but we have concerns with ag coming in here and taking the water because there's just not that much water anytime you're in a desert. Water is a concern.
Like you said earlier, I mean, the water level here is pretty much the same as it was a year ago, 2 years ago in the past.
Right. I think the well owners are saying it's probably dropping about a foot a year, and that's a concern.
That is a
anytime
concern.
it's dropping. But what impact that has and how that affects you, that's a big debate that we're having in our community.
I mean, I think there's other technologies out there like drip irrigation, aquaponics, hydroponics, that can be conserve some water. You got these wind tunnel greenhouses, and plant locally.
Right.
Like communities like Inyo Kern, Ridgecrest, you could put together some greenhouses out here to run on, a good tank of water that wouldn't evaporate like you do out in the ponds, out in the country. Where you see all over San Joaquin Valley, you have all these reservoirs of water. Well, there's a lot of evaporation, so you lose a lot of water. Well, going with aquaponics, you're not losing as much water when it's evaporating or being absorbed to the ground, and you can recycle it.
It reminds me of a couple of things. One thing we had in the community here, which was a wonderful event, is we had a garden tour. It was actually for 50 years plus. The local garden club has had a garden tour every year that you can go and see homes here in the valley that are doing different things, and a lot of them are this kind of drought tolerant, less water intensive landscapes that people can go out and see. And I think that's a real challenge that we have in the community is where do you go and see that? Where do you see that's something similar that I want to do? Yeah,
and that's what I was going to invite you to do at the Robbers Roost, being that you're a vermiculturalist, and teach people how to garden.
That's a pretty big word out there. I don't know if people know
vermiculture
is something that I've been doing for about 6 years, is
Yes.
learning how to use worms to improve the quality of the soil.
Yeah.
Vermiculture is simply a worm rancher or a worm farmer.
A lot of people don't know that's important. You got to have worms in your garden, guys. But we built some raised beds out at the Roberts Roost Ranch to start growing some stuff out there. For some of the families in need that we help now, give them some good food, not the stuff they have in the food bank. It helps, but we like to give them some, fresh, non-GMO
We're gonna go to break here in just a few seconds here, but we're gonna be right back. This is Ridgecrest Talk with Paul Vender and Caesar Malta. And welcome back. We're at Ridgecrest Talk. Your host Paul Vanderwerf with Caesar Malta, coming over from Bakersfield with Healing Words International, which is a ministry with a number of different projects that you do, but a lot of it is kind of dealing with crisis. Right?
Yes.
So
a lot of community help during crisis.
I think I sometimes think of Red Cross sometimes for those things. Somebody gets their home burnt, the Red Cross will come say, hey, can we provide you with some of these immediate needs that you have? Yeah. And you guys offer some of those same services? Yeah,
we do. Actually, the Red Cross called us not so long ago, last year when there was a fire up at the in the Kernville area, and some of our chaplains were up there, did briefing people, kind of calming them down a little bit, feeding them, just guiding them a little bit. You just lose your house. What do? You need someone to turn to. We don't preach at them. We don't, nothing like that. We just help them. That's
and people don't realize what a huge impact that has. I mean, that fire came through Wolford Heights and almost into Kernville, and I was just out there yesterday at a property that they're now clearing the property now for somebody whose house was burned out so they can build their new house. So here, we just hear about it in the newspaper or because we have smoke blow across the valley, but now they're just getting ready to build their house.
Yeah, and that's it happened a year ago.
Right.
Where were they at all this time? What are they going through all that time? Where's their stuff, their pictures?
Right, and just trying to get everything. Just trying to get from the day that your property burns down to, you're moving in. That's got to be quite a crisis.
Yeah, it's a tough time. So we like to be there for them, talk to them, and help them out as much as we can. And the same thing like some of our chaplains go to the heart hospital. Someone has a heart attack. The family's grieving a little bit, and it's a hard time. So we have chaplains for that. We're there in the presence to help and be there for them. We get some of our veterans that come back, and they come back with PTSD, no job, divorce, no house. They don't know where to go.
Right.
And we bring them in and help them if we can. Sometimes they need some funds, they need some money to get things done, or food for their family. So we have a ministry for that too. We have a pantry at one of the churches in Bakersfield that has our food there, and we're trying to grow some here at the Roberts Roost Ranch, and hopefully we can grow that ministry to help as many people as we can in Kern County.
Right, and that's one of the challenges, I think, is that it's education. When I talk to the folks on the water board, they always say, we always feel like education is the most important thing. If we're going to conserve water in our water district, we need to educate our people. Yeah. And we can talk about these different concepts, but people need to see it. People need to go out and actually see that yard and say, wow, okay, that doesn't just look like rocks with a tree in the middle or something. And it can still be beautiful. I mean, you go to Vegas, I go to Vegas every now and again, and you really see that whole neighborhoods, whole developments that are not using very much water for landscape.
Yeah.
And it just takes some planning, takes some time, and people need to see what that is. And that's some of the ideas that you have for Roberts Roost Ranch, which is here in the valley. And it's a challenge. You're coming over from the Bakersfield side with a group that's not as strongly tied to the valley. And how does the valley reach out to you guys, and how do you guys reach out to the valley?
The people, the community can reach me. We have an 800 number also, but they can reach me on my cell phone. I can direct them.
Yeah, go ahead. Give your cell phone number out there if somebody's hearing this.
661-586-0044. That's 661-586-0044. Call me anytime for any information you may need and how you can help. Again, it's a work of togetherness, community, so we can make something happen in a big way, and that's the way it should be, you know.
Right. Well, here in Ingalls Valley, probably 80% plus of our people are working on the base. But you always have some people that either change their career path or they're doing something else. And there may be somebody out there who's saying, you know what, I want to get involved with this because of their religious views or because of their societal views or whatever it is. You may have somebody who says, you know, I want to check this out and see if I can help out.
Yeah.
We have a lot of a brain trust, scientists, engineers, people who have that technology transfer. There's something
That'd be
they've been
great.
working on, but then it's like, you know what, I can improve something in the,
water
water drilling or in the
water filtration. It's
Right.
going to be something that's going to be a big thing in the next 10, 15 years, to come up with some serious water filtration plans. You know, when you have engineers and scientists, and that's what I would like the Robert Fruits to be. You know, you have a lot of people here, even if it's physicists, people like that, they can come together, put their minds together, and come up with some new renewable energy. There's a lot of renewable energy technology that's been out there, but needs to be woken up. And now with the technology we have now, you know, there's so much we can do. There's, you know.
All right, so here I am. I'm hearing about this. It's not the most important thing in my life. I'm not sure where Robert's Roost Ranch is. I'm going down to LA for the weekend. I jump in the car. I drive out through Intercurrent up to 14. I hang that left. I'm heading 14 south. I pass the 178 turnoff after 3 miles, and another 3 miles on the right is the big cell tower. If I'm driving at night, I see that big
You see
red
the beacon light,
blinking. And there I am at Robert's Roost Ranch. If I stopped there right now today, what would I see, or what could I be involved with?
You'll see a couple signs right now that says Ghost Town. Just some old buildings that were there. It's a cool place to take some photos. There's a mini mart there to buy some sodas or, you know, chips, or, you know, just a little a mini mart store, a C-store. But and we have, if you walk towards the back, you'll see the raised beds back there. We have some farm animals back there. And I mean, we're open to whoever wants to go out there and help out and bring your RVs out there. We're clearing out an area. Hopefully we should have it done by, I say, before Thanksgiving weekend. We get a lot of ATVers and RVers to go out there and they ride the mountains back there. There's hundreds of miles of trails out there in those hills, and it's a great view when you're out there. But bring your RVs, come hang out. You know, we're clearing up a good area on the north side of the property, so you can come and park there for the weekend or for the week. You know, and we're there to help out. You know, so come on by, check it out, bring some ideas with you.
Right,
You know,
and
that'd
we've
be great.
we've had some great guests here. I was actually able to bring Ed Waldheim, who organizes over at the Jawbone Station there a number of those trails and the maps and the things that go along with that. You can actually get it on your phone now. This technology is so
I've
great.
seen the app.
I can be out in the middle of the desert and I can pull up a map and see where I am, how far it is to Robert's Roost Ranch from you know, out in Red Rock Canyon.
He's done a great job
And
putting the name out there.
That's an amazing thing. But it's interesting, we're talking to you kind of on the early stage. You don't have everything in place yet, but we want to reach out and we want to get the community challenged.
Yeah.
How do we move forward? How do we explore these new ideas and not just sit around and grumble that we don't like some?
Hey, give me a call. I just gave you my number.
All right, we're out of time, but
Yeah.
Caesar, thanks for coming in. This is Paul Banner with the Ridgecrest Talk. And
Thank you for having me.
really enjoyed talking tonight.